given time, the branches fork out. And over a period of time, trucks become trucks commercial and trucks military. And then trucks military become trucks and vehicles military. The vehicles are called Jeeps. And then the Jeeps come back and you have commercial Jeeps and personal Jeeps called SUVs. And then SUVs become domestic and SUVs international. And then SUVs become SUV international and SUV cross. And then over all time, all categories and brands fork because of this bankruptcy gap thing. You have to move out on further branches of the tree to stand out, to have value. And the way you connect with your customers so that they'll come back. Because if they don't come back, if they're not repeat business with you, then your marketing and your content is wrong. If your sales, if your clientele, if your attendance, if your membership, if your business is shrinking or fighting to keep its head above water, it's because you're not realizing you're choosing to be where it's nice and safe. This is safe. Why would I leave this? Why would I go out on a branch? What happens if you get on a branch that's too thin? That can be bad too. But it requires you to start asking this question. I work with who want, and to really get what they want, you have to be in their clothes. You have to be in their mind. Because when you're in their mind, now you can talk their talk, third column stuff, future, because that's what your customers want, is a better future. That's what they want. And that requires you to start asking, well, do I want to go here or do I want to go here? Well, this you don't want to do. If you're insurance, this is called progressive. If you're in blinds, this is called what? Blinds.com. You see it every day. If you're in copiers, this is called what?
Generic, IBM, Xerox, whatever.
Office Max.
Yeah.
This is called Office Max, okay? Well, so you have to ask yourself, do I want to go here? Well, no, I want to go here. Because here I can stand out, I can be different, I can look different, I can do crazy things, which requires a huge dose of courage on your part to believe that you could really make a difference. Now, if you listen to your customers, they'll tell you what you want to say when you go over there. They'll help you paint the offering that you want to have.
You could be a crazy Jeff.
Yeah. But the key is to connect with their descriptors for what it is, because their descriptors constitute your brand. See, if I say to you Levi's, what do you think of?
Jeans.
Jeans. If I say to you Coca-Cola.
Pop.
Okay. If I say to you Starbucks.
Coffee.
Because all those things represent a brand in the mind of the customer. So who's the best person to tell you what your third column should say? Your customer. So you got to go ask the customer. If you were to describe the value of what I give you, what would you say? And if you haven't asked them, then you're spending money and time on stuff that is not connecting with their world. You might as well repent and stop. You're irritating people. Okay? But if you can connect with them in a really world, personal, teeth-rattling way, then you can move to this realm where you stand out. You're on your own branch. Okay? And the problem is, if you try to create that, you cannot make it different enough for them. Because you will use nice, safe things because you're afraid your father may see your business card and say, oh, what were you thinking?
Exactly.
And so you're writing your copy, you're building your website, you're writing your materials just so that your dad will be proud of you. Stop. Stop. You've got to stand out. We're out of time. So let me give you an example of how this works. Last summer, I'm cured, okay? So you won't get worried, okay? Last summer, I was diagnosed with cancer. So I started going in for cancer treatments. And I thought, I'm going to make this cancer hospital my client, okay? So now realize this hospital has the best marketing in the country calling on them, okay? Little companies like Johnson & Johnson, GlaxoSmithKline, Pfizer. I don't know if you've heard those names, but they have hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars in business trying to connect with who? The people that I want to connect with, and I want them to, they're going to cure me, and then they're going to pay me. So the first thing I did was I called the president of the hospital. I said, I understand I need to come to you. Oh yeah, you want to come, you want to come, you come. We'll come, we'll give you a team of doctors, and then they'll give, because the surgeon just wants to slice and dice. And the radiation guy, he just wants to bomb. And so we put a team, and so I got off the phone, and I created a YouTube video of this hospital. We don't have time, I'd show you the video. You can go on YouTube and see it. It's called Hammers and something, and anyway. It's a 2-minute video, and in this video I say, we're hanging blinds in the Nortons. I got this drill, and this is the way you hang blinds, and they're going to be great, but you use this hammer, new way, old way, new way, old way, new way. And I said, but the key piece is when your only tool is a hammer, all problems look like nails. You see, I just went to this hospital, and the doctor wants it, and he wants to slice and dice, but this doctor is his hammers, and he wants to radiate, and this hospital's different. So I do this video. What do I do with the video? I send it to the president of the hospital. I just thought I'd like you to know I'm talking about your hospital on the internet. Within 2 hours, I get an email back. I sent that to all my senior staff. That's unbelievable. I go in for treatment. One day I took some candy. I came back and the receptionist put the candy down. I said, what's the candy for? For people who get radiation and then they taste metal. And so we give them candy. Do you pay that out of your pocket? Oh, yeah. So the next day I took her 3 bags of candy and wrote a blog about them, carrying that much out of their own pocket. Guess who I sent a reference of the blog to? The president of the hospital. Turned the clock ahead. Sent him a copy of one of my books. Turn the clock ahead. Send him a bag of popcorn. See, I had a client one time say, watching Kordell present, this is marketing. This is just disgusting. I'm doing a commercial on it, right? Watching Kordell present is like watching popcorn pop without the lid. Okay? That's good. I can steal that. So I sent him a bag of popcorn, microwave popcorn in a bag, wrote on it, watching Kordell present, and sent it to him, right? He calls me on the phone. Guy makes $2 million a year. He has Pfizer, Johnson, all these guys trying to get on his, he calls me on the phone to thank me for a 25-cent bag of popcorn. Okay? So the question is, do you want to be safe in this world? But if you are not safe and you go out on a limb without speaking their language, people will saw off your limb while you're out there. Your limb has to be based on their world, their third column, what they're thinking about their business. Okay? If you have that connection with them and their world, and then you make whatever you're doing edgy, but it still has to connect with them, with their mind, what the brand is, then you have value. Then you will stand out. Then you will be somebody that you can connect with people and have $2 million a year people call you on the phone, say, thanks for the bag of popcorn, right? Now, by the way, the rest of the story is I've been engaged with that hospital now 3 times. Groups of 70, 80 doctors in a room, right? And want to know something about doctors? They have egos bigger than Ohio. It's amazing. But, so does this stuff work? This stuff works. But you've got to be connected with where they're at. With where they're at. See, success is connected. Significance.
You have time.
Are you in the transaction business or are you in the transition business? Because if you're selling your time, here's what I charge for one day. This is what I sell an insurance policy for. This is what a window treatment per window cost is going to be. This is what a loan is going to cost you and your family. This is what, if you're in that business, you're in the transaction business. And when you're in the transaction business, people want to talk about price. When you're in the transaction business, you're trying to get to the honcho, the decision maker. Well, decision makers don't make decisions anymore. Those days are gone. Decision makers want their staff to have consensus because he doesn't want to screw up the organization and get blamed for it. He has all this high-priced help that works for me. He wants his staff to have consensus.
He wants to cover his backside.
He wants to cover his backside, and he wants to multiply and leverage the resources of people that work for him. So in the old days, you sold transactions, a one-off, one a day, sell to the honcho. What's the price? This is where the customer says, so what? What? When you get over here, guess what? The customer doesn't know the answer. They don't even know how they buy stuff over here. They look to you and say, how do I do this? They want consensus. They want a partnership. Then those people within the organization, when you're good, when you're connected with their third column, they'll take you up and say, President, come here, you got to meet this guy. He's just unbelievable. You got to meet this guy. See, there's one question you got to ask your customers. Are you, not will you, can you, no, not will you, not can you. Are you going to tell others about, are you going to tell others about your experience with us? If you say, are you going to tell others about others? If they say yes, then you have somebody who's going to go home and tell other people they don't blink. When they start talking about you and your offerings and say they don't blink, it's unbelievable. You got to go there. You got to go to Five Guys because they put the extra load of French fries in there. You got to go to, and so you start looking at the names that pop up that get that 36% increase over normal pricing. And these people that do this stuff, they take them to a new world. The future is different. There's a transition that occurs. See, guys, my phone's over here buzzing. How many of you have been changed by this stupid device? Steve Jobs said or Henry Ford said, if I'd listened to my customers, I would have built a bigger horse. And Steve Jobs says, I'm not listening to customers. If I make a cell phone, like everybody else is, guess where I'm at? I'm in the middle of this thing. And so he reinvented the game, created a new branch, went out there, created a future that the customer didn't even know they had. You have products that will take the customer someplace that they're not at right now, but it requires you to change your thinking, to think about, stop being successful, and start thinking about significance, making a difference. You got it in you. You're unique. The good Lord created every one of us with a special set of skills. Thanks, guys, for letting me be here.